Hi, my name is Michaela, and this is everything I made in 2025. I do a mix of sewing for myself and then also for my business, Westa Vintage. Mostly sew from secondhand textiles. I like to thrift bed sheets, curtains, quilts. But if I do have like a very specific design in mind, I will go to an actual fabric store to get fabric. If you like sewing, upcycling, if you're really hoping to get into sewing this year, I would love if you would like this video and maybe even subscribe. I'm really hoping to put out more videos in 2026. First make of the year, I actually started in 2024, so I don't know if that's cheating, but I did finish it in 2025, and it was a pair of patchwork jeans. I thrifted these jeans. They're the brand Frame, which is a super nice denim brand. I got them for like $5 at a thrift store, and then I added this patchwork onto them. These were super fun. This was the first time I had done this sort of patchwork with more of like a quilt design. It really inspired me to do a lot more of that this year. If you like them, they are for sale on my website. My second make of the year was a quilt jacket. This was my first quilt jacket of the year. I love making these. This was from a thrifted quilt I think I got at the Goodwill bins. Everyone always asks what patterns I use for this, but it is an old vintage pattern that I thrifted. It's called the 3-Hour Express Jacket or something like that. I will like put a picture in just in case you're able to find it online. It is a perfect pattern. I have used it as the base for all of my jackets pretty much, and I just modify the length and the sleeve type. The next item, I did a giveaway on my Instagram page for a custom pair of patchwork jeans. The person who won sent me a pair of their jeans in the mail, and then she gave me like a Pinterest board inspo and some pictures for ideas for how she wanted the patchwork to turn out. I loved the color scheme she gave me. As you can see, it's very similar to the color scheme that I use in some of my other designs. That felt really fun to give something that I had made. Next up were my quilt scrunchies. I call them crunchies. I made these around Valentine's Day, so I used this red and white quilt that I had thrifted. Made them in a variety of sizes, and I think they are just so cute. I love making these, and I do have them available on my website right now, and they're just made to order. Next make of 2025 was the Alma dress by Fiona. I was a pattern tester for this pattern. This was my first time being a pattern tester. It was so fun. I really loved it. I'm hoping I can sign up to be a pattern tester for more patterns in 2026. This was a fun dress. I have not really done zippers, so this was my first time doing a zipper, and Fiona's instructions were amazing. And if you can't tell, I was really into patchwork this year, so I did add some patchwork on the ends of the dress. I used like an iron-on adhesive. It's double-sided, so I ironed the adhesive onto the patches, and then you like peel the back off, and then I iron them onto the pants. Then I do a very small zigzag stitch to secure them to the actual item. I loved the way this white denim looked with the blue patchwork, so I immediately started these jeans after this dress. These are jeans I sourced for my business actually, and they're jeans that I had for so long. They just hadn't sold on my websites, and I loved how these turned out. And I actually sold them at a vintage event that I did in February. More patchwork. Yeah, I really liked that this year. I have it here. I'll show better in a second. But I did a bunch of patches along the bottom in like that red, blue, white color scheme. And I thought this turned out so cute. I love the color palette on this. I think the little patches are so fun, and they just add a lot of detail to a shirt that was otherwise very plain. That will also be going on my website for sale soon. Next item I think is my favorite make of the year. This is a pattern that I designed and I tried to mock up a few times and honestly failed, and I was so frustrated that I put it away for a few years, maybe like 2 years. One day I finally just woke up with the motivation to finish it, and it did, and I figured it out, and I love how it turned out. I had not made a ton of clothes for myself. I feel like I had been making a ton of clothes for my business over the past few years, but this was really fun to make something for myself, and it definitely helped me get out of a little bit of a sewing slump. So when I posted this on TikTok, got a ton of requests about a pattern for it, and I've never released a pattern or made a pattern for multiple sizes, but it's something that I really want to try in 2026. Let me know if this would be a sewing pattern that you would be interested in. My next make of the year was just a very simple upcycle. I took a wrap dress that I had thrifted that was just a cute gingham pattern and added lace to the edges, and I thought it just added a little something to it. I don't have any before pictures, but I have after pictures. Towards the end of the year, I made a quilt jacket for one of my friends' birthdays. I really love how this turned out. We moved at the beginning of the year, and I randomly found this quilt in my garage. I completely forgot that we had it. And so I made it for my friend's birthday, and I think she really liked it. My last make of the year was for myself. I had this vision of a Christmas dress that I really wanted to make, and I could not find a pattern that was similar anywhere. I loosely based it off this pattern from Etsy that I'll show and I'll link, but honestly, it's just nowhere near what I made, so it's very different. But if you want to check that out, you're welcome to. The sizing worked really well for the bodice. I used the bodice piece as kind of a base. That was my first project that I like fully conceptualized and sketched before I started. Made me feel very advanced. I had a very specific fabric for this, so I did end up buying it from a fabric store. This was some pretty intense self-drafting, and I made all of my own pattern pieces. I ended up adjusting it a lot of times. I ended up raising the bust like 3 inches towards the very end, of course. And I was making this before I got on my flight for Christmas to go home. So, you know how that goes. But honestly, all things considered, it went really well. And I was really proud of myself. I wore it for Christmas Eve and Christmas, and I love it. It definitely made me really excited to take on more challenging pieces and make more of my own designs in 2026. I've really started taking a step back with the thrifting part of my business, and I want to make a lot more clothes instead. That's just kind of where my passion is right now. And I actually made a very exciting purchase right at the end of the year. So in a few days, I have a Juki DDL 8700 coming to my house, and I am so excited, you guys. I've been using the most basic sewing machine for a really long time, so I'm so excited to have an industrial machine. If you like these projects and you want to see more, I would love if you subscribed. Planning to put out another video very soon. So if you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around. It's so fun sharing everything I made. I love watching other people's what I made videos. If you're someone who sews or knits or crafts at all, I would love to know what you made this year. So comment down below what your favorite project was from 2025 for yourself, or let me know what your favorite item was from this video. I would love to know. Okay, that's all, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Happy New Year, happy 2026, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.